Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Britt, and if you haven't subscribed yet, you probably should because I talk about geeky things. But today, we're gonna kind of have a little bit of a sad video. As all of you know, I live in a zoo, and I have 2 dogs, a cat, and 4 leopard geckos. Something missing? Yes, something is missing. Unfortunately, my American bullfrog passed away a while ago. I'm not sure when this video is actually gonna go live. There was a video that I put up about me redoing her tank. Unfortunately, obviously, she did not survive before I put that video up. So it's very sad. I am very, very sad. I found out a week ago that she passed. Actually, it's been a week now since I found her and cleaned out her tank. I have moved Apollo's crate, and I've moved her tank out. I couldn't look at her tank. So this video is going to be me showing you a piece of art that I did. I haven't done watercolor pencil in like, God, 15 years probably. It's been a really long time since I've sat down to do actual art. And I mean, every once in a while I'll draw some stuff, but for the most part, I have not done watercolor pencil or anything like that, or acrylics, anything in a really long time. And I just kind of got this inspiration to do something for Nadleeh. It's very, very simple, and it's very, very childlike, but I wanted it to be something reminiscent of something I would have done as a child, because if you guys don't know, Nadleeh was a dream come true for me. When I was... Excuse you, Apollo. Why do you knock over your water? You're a weirdo. Anyway, when I was a young kid, I actually collected frogs. For many years, I collected frogs and toads in hopes of one day finding the giant frog that you will see in movies and television shows. That giant green frog that they had in Budweiser commercials. And I never did find them, and that hobby went away after I learned that frogs were cannibals by seeing 2 legs of one frog sticking out of the mouth of another frog. And I gave up that dream when I was about 10 years old, 10 or 11 years old, and I never had another frog or toad pet ever again until one day at PetSmart when I worked there. I went into work and I was very sad because I had lost one of my goldfish I had had for a long time at this point. She had gotten sick, and I'd gotten her a hospital tank, and I had been trying to nurse her back to health because the other goldfish in the tank were really picking on her because she was not feeling well. So she ended up passing away, and I was devastated. She was this massive she was this massive white and orange Aranda. If you guys are not familiar with Arandas, they're the ones that look like they have got their brains sticking out of their heads. She was all white except for the cap on her head. So she was actually technically a red cap Aranda, but she was absolutely beautiful. She also had 2 little orange spots just at the base of her tail. And she passed away, and I went into work the next day just devastated that she had passed, and I didn't know what I was gonna do. I was very sad, and my manager came up to me. This was back when that manager actually liked me as a person. Came up to me and she goes, "You need to come and see this tadpole that we got. It is the biggest tadpole that I think I have honestly ever seen." So she pulls me into the back, and in our sump for our feeder fish is this massive tadpole. Her body was about that thick, and together she was probably about maybe this long, maybe a little bit longer than that. She was this massive tadpole. And I thought, man, I have got a 10-gallon that I'm doing literally nothing with. The 10-gallon that she spent the first few months, I want to say the first 6 months of her life with me, is the tank that Langley now lives in. Because I got Langley later that year, because again, I had a 10-gallon I wasn't doing anything with. Anyway, I brought her home with me after work that day, and I put her in that tank. I had tadpole pellets. I gave her some live plants to also be munching on, and she lived her best life as a tadpole. I tried to slow down the rate in which she would become a frog. There are ways you can do that successfully, but she was clearly already at her 3-year mark. So bullfrog tadpoles tend to be tadpoles for only about 1 to 3 years. Bullfrog tadpoles tend to be frogs for about 1 to 3 years. And she was already this massive tadpole, and she became a frog very quickly when she came into my life, even though I tried to slow down the process. So she quickly became a frog. And one of my favorite memories of her transformation, which took about a month to completely transform from tadpole to frog for her, was one night I went to bed. I went to go shut off her light, and I looked in the tank, and she just had back legs, her tail, her body, and I was like, well, no front legs yet. So then I wake up the next morning. Mind you, I went to bed about 9 p.m. I woke up about 3 a.m. because I had to open that day at work. So I had to be at work about 6 a.m. And yes, I get up early so I can have a nice lazy morning before having to go into work. Leave me alone, okay? Anyway, I woke up and went to her tank, turned on her light, and there were arms just hanging out. They were fully formed. They were not long. They were short, stubby arms, but they were arms nonetheless. And I remember thinking, did that hurt? Like, that had to have hurt. She just all of a sudden had arms. Like, within a span of how many hours? 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, wait. 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 7 hours. Within 7 hours, she went from no arms. And then I realized after she had grown her arms that I had to alter her tank very quickly. Because if you guys don't know, I learned a lot about the transformation from tadpole to frog during this time frame, because I had to learn how to do it correctly and how to make sure she would survive it and things like that. And if you guys don't know, as soon as they grow their front arms, they're going to lose their gills and grow lungs or start using their lungs very quickly. So I had to immediately turn her tank essentially into a semi-aquatic tank. So I took out some of the water, I put a little lily pad in there, little, not real lily pad, but like a lily pad decor item in there for her, and realized I was gonna start feeding her crickets. And I also had to switch out the filter that I was using, so that's when I started using internal water filters. So I did, and she grew into a frog, pretty small one at first, and then she got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. At some point she learned that because I was still essentially using, because bullfrogs are pretty simple. They don't need a lot of heat. They don't need UVB lighting. I did give her UVB lighting throughout the rest of her life when I switched her to my 55. But at this point in time, I was kind of strapped for funds, and so I had to make some difficult choices to make sure that she would at least survive. So yeah, at first, she didn't have UVB lighting or a heat lamp of any kind. She just had the fish tank hood on top with the fluorescent light in there that would help the live plants that I had in there. So there was this little hole because I was using an internal filter, and I stupidly put the internal filter right where that hole was and she learned how to get out of her tank. So I had to switch the hood very quickly as well. She got out of her tank, and I thought she was somewhere in the house lost forever, and I was never gonna see her again, and I was very sad. I was very disappointed in myself. And then my mom moved the rug that was in my kitchen at the time, and there she was underneath the rug, and she just let out this loud scream. She goes, "Well, I found your frog." And so I pick her up, throw her back in a tank, and I immediately covered up that hole. Then I got a new hood the next time I went into work, and she was secure in the 10-gallon tank. I had recently just purchased this 55-gallon with this stand and hood top thing from a coworker, and I decided that instead of setting up the Lake Malawi cichlid tank that I've always dreamt of having, I would simply just put her in there. So I did. I created a semi-aquatic environment for her with ledges and mostly water with an internal water filter in the tank itself. And there she lived for many, many years. I had dreams of one day creating this really cool tank for her that I just never had the funds to be able to actually create. But it was this cool thing in my brain that I wanted to eventually create for her. She lived as a frog with me for 9 years. I thought it was 10, was not. I had my dates wrong. I got her in 2012, not 2011. But either way, she was a frog with me for 9 years. So she was a frog with me for 9 years, and she was a tadpole for 3 years. That would have made her 12 when she passed. That's about average for a bullfrog in captivity. So she lived a very nice, long, wonderful life with me. She was safe, she was happy, she was well fed, and I miss her a lot. I miss walking by her tank and her jumping into the water and scaring me. I miss filming and having my cat jump onto her tank and scare her so she jumps into the water. It's startling me while I'm filming. I will miss that. I will miss watching her hunt. It's so much fun to watch a bullfrog hunt. I've never understood how they hunted in the past, and it was so much fun to watch them hunt and watch her do her thing. It was so much fun to watch her get up on her ledges and explore her tank, and she got to a point where she trusted me. I could never really successfully pick her up too much except for towards the end when she was slowing down. But she always trusted if I put my hand in the tank that she wasn't gonna be hurt. And I adored her so much. I know it's very strange to think that you could become so emotionally attached to an animal that doesn't get emotionally attached to you, because I'm sure she wasn't. I was this creature that wasn't hurting her and was feeding her, but I don't think she necessarily felt love for me like I did for her. But she knew that she was safe, and she knew that she was okay, and that she was gonna be fed. She didn't know any better than that. That's what she knew. She did start to get sick 6-7 months ago. She started to get weird little sores on her, and she started to slow down. And there were many times that I thought that she was not gonna make it. And it finally came down to that she just couldn't make it anymore. So that is the story of my frog. I named her Nadleeh because I really like that name. It comes from Gundam 00. It is Tieria's Gundam, this one. I just really liked that name, and it was the only thing I could think of when it came time to name her. And I don't know. She was just an amazing animal, and it's gonna be really hard to not have her around anymore. Now you might be asking, will I go and get another bullfrog? No, I don't think I'll ever want another bullfrog. They are so much work when it comes to feeding. I loved her every minute I spent with her. I treasured the fact that I had to feed her so much because I was happy to do it, and I don't know. I love all my animals in my zoo, and losing her was really hard. You will see when this video goes up will also be a video on my vlogging channel of me cleaning out her tank. I take her out, and I will do what I did for Denali as well. I'm going to get a potted plant or a pot, and I'm going to put in obviously dirt and a plant, and have that be her grave that I can take with me no matter where I go in the future. I am looking to see if I can find something on Etsy that would be something where I could actually have her name on it. That's something that I am looking into doing. But anyway, let's go ahead into the speed painting that I did. As I said, I wanted to make sure that it was still very juvenile, very young, because it was something that I dreamt of when I was a young kid For years, like I said, I collected frogs in hopes to find an American bullfrog, and I got to have one finally. And so I'm very thrilled to have had her in my life, and I am thrilled to have shared a bit of her life with all of you over the years while I've been vlogging. At some point, maybe what I'm going to do is go back to all of the old vlogs from Life in Snippets when I did that, when I used that as my vlogging channel, and all of the imagery that I have of her from my current vlogging channel, even videos on this channel that I might have of her, and compile them together and put together a nice little montage video of her, because I miss her and she deserves recognition for the existence she played in my life. So I miss you, Nadleeh. And I'm just hoping that you're out of whatever pain you're in. So, here's the finished product here. I have her name, and then I decided to draw with the pencil and then paint I decided to paint essentially a pond, because obviously that's where a bullfrog would be living in the wild, and what I would picture her afterlife to look like, being free in this wonderful wild scape here. I ended up making the pond just a little too far in the back, so that's why I put the tree out front. But yeah, I thought it turned out kind of nice. Again, like I said, I wanted to try and emulate what a child would draw, or what a child would paint, because it meant something to me to have her. It meant something to like kid me to have her. And as I talked with my therapist about it, you know, I had a rough childhood in a lot of situations, and things that I have talked about on this channel and things that I may never talk about on this channel. But I had some really rough things happen to me when I was young, and as an adult, it's normal for me to cling on to something that I may have wanted as a kid, because I'm finally taking care of little me. I'm giving little me the love that she deserved from certain people in her life that did not provide that love to her. If you're part of my personal life, you know what I'm talking about. But again, I don't know if I'm ever gonna be brave enough to actually share that part of me on the internet. But I don't exactly have the best relationship with members of my family because of it. And so having her, bringing her home, and having her be a big part of my life for the last 9 years was like taking care of little me, giving little me the love that she deserved. And for that, Nadleeh, I thank you. Okay. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Seriously late. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. I'm just gonna finish it in the dark, I guess. If you guys wanna see the last video I did, you guys can click right here. If you guys wanna see what the algorithm thinks is best for you on my channel, go ahead and click here. Click here to subscribe to my vlogging channel, where Nadleeh will no longer be a part of it, but there will be a video up of me cleaning out her tank. Or click here to subscribe to this channel for a lot more happy geeky content. And I will see you guys all next time. Bye.